I'm here with Adria Dunn, author and philanthropist. Adria, thank you for being here.
Hi, how are you?
So you're working on some really interesting projects. Last year you got heavily invested in philanthropy. Tell us about the work you're doing.
Sure. Over the course of 2020, I spent much of my time connecting people. I kind of became a mini UN in my sweatpants in my living room, trying to connect family offices to world leaders, to NGOs. So I started connecting them through Zoom calls and then introducing everyone. This kind of spiraled into my book that I have coming out called The Vine, A Message of Hope from World Leaders, where each chapter is written by a different world leader to deliver a message of hope post-COVID. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Amazing. So in talking with all of these world leaders, what is the mission that you have with the work that you're doing?
Well, we have leaders from every continent. The idea is I'm trying to get as many different sectors as possible. Leaders across business, philanthropy, science, tech, government, religion, media, people that were either pioneers in their field, but we also have people who are the greatest leaders you've never heard of, like refugees, for example. So right now, the goal is to get about 36 people in our book. We have 15 world leaders so far, including former President of Ireland, Mary McLeese. Pope Francis is committed to the book. We have imams, a Sunni and a Shiite. We also have countries that are technically at war with each other on both sides, so Palestine and Israel, both sides. We have an Israeli refugee who sadly lost his 3 daughters and his niece in an airstrike attack on the Gaza Strip, and he wrote a book called I Shall Not Hate. And then on the Israel side, we have Rabbi David Rosen. So the idea is to not be political, to not be religious, but to represent a microcosm of humanity. Because we're all here together on Earth, and we've all suffered COVID. And so where do we go from here?
Can you give us a sneak peek into any of the messages of hope that we could see in the book?
Yeah, one of the messages that was really inspiring, there's a couple actually that have come so far, and what I didn't anticipate that as the letters come that I would actually kind of work with them on that. And so it's difficult because these people are very powerful people, right? And I'm just a banker, so I don't have the experience of running a country or leading a religious group or any of these things. But one of the letters that came was that was very inspiring was from Prince Ermias of Ethiopia. So it's one of the oldest royal families in the world, going back to the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon. And so their royal family is now in exile and living in the U.S., and he wrote the most beautiful letter to his people and to the country and to the world, right? Which talked a lot about harmony, talked about peace, it talked about tolerance, it talked about cultural understanding and diplomacy. And Ethiopia is going through a lot of strife right now internally. I think they're having an internal war. So letters like this, I think, are really important to inspire people in a time where there's been a lot of suffering. And suffering will never end, right? So how do we get through it? And the book is a message of hope. So hope is what we have when we have nothing else left.
A message for our time. Adria, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.